established order.
Hello and welcome to our fourth semi-annual Catalyst Day. Thank you for joining us. We now have a presentation from a Catalyst 300 group, Group 10, and they are presenting the everlasting Yemen water crisis, bottles for the future.
Hello, I'm Stephen.
I'm Courtney.
I'm Lupita.
And as Professor Maynard already said, we are presenting on the everlasting Yemen water crisis, bottles for the future. So one of the first things we looked into is the factors behind this water crisis. Overall, there's just a lack of usable and clean water, which is a worldwide issue. To understand what usable and clean water is, you need to know the definition. The definition of usable and clean water is water with less than 10,000 milligrams of total dissolved solids per liter. And just overall, over 780 million people struggle worldwide with finding usable and clean water. Yemen is going through a water crisis because of many different factors. Some of these factors are an increase of population. The increase of population is due to early marriage, limited girls' education, high adolescent fetal rates, high female literacy rates, low usage of contraceptives, and high total fertility rate, which is 6.2 births per woman. Overall, all of these together have led to a 2.4 increase of annual population, which is roughly around 650,000 new people per year. Another factor is that they have hot weather in Yemen. In the summer, it reaches around 29 degrees Fahrenheit, and their year-round temperature is 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And then there's poor agriculture. Over 70% of the population lives in rural areas in Yemen, and 3% of it is only considered to be arable land. Arable land, described by Food and Agricultural Organization, is land under temporary crop usage. Some of the other issues are government issues, and there's wars within Yemen. With the government issues, there's a breakdown of the economy. There's been a loss of $89 billion in economic activity since 2015, and over 80% of the country of Yemen lives in poverty. When it comes to war within Yemen, there are two wars going on. There is the Yemen Civil War, which has been going on for roughly over 6 years. There's a Saudi Arabian intervention, which has been going on for over 5.5 years. And overall, these wars have led to airstrikes, which are destroying the pipelines and sanitation stations. And then overall as a whole, there's a lack of clean and usable water, which is leading the individuals in Yemen to travel farther distances to usable and clean water. This water crisis in Yemen has caused many different problems. The negative factors are there's an increase of cholera, AWD, dehydration, and malnutrition. So the graph below shows that there can be large outbreaks of cholera at any time just because of the lack of clean water they actually have. Yemen is actually getting over one of the largest cholera outbreaks in 2016 and 2017. To understand what cholera is, it is a bacterial disease which is spread through contaminated water, which causes extreme diarrhea and dehydration. If it is not treated quickly, it can be fatal even in the healthiest of individuals. And acute watery diarrhea, or other known as AWD, is actually part of cholera. This is also the lack of water leads to dehydration. Dehydration is defined as loss of body fluids through illness, sweating, or lack of intake. Dehydration occurs when more water is leaving the body compared to water, and this is an issue as we are talking about because they're not able to find water to drink. And then this also leads to malnutrition, which is defined as imbalances of energy or nutrients. This comes more from the sides of the issues they have with farming. They have issues with farming because of the lack of water leads to them not having enough water crops, which leads to a decline in crops that they have and a decline in, which is a full circle leading back to them getting malnutrition.
The water sanitation crisis in Yemen is actually a very significant problem. There's about a population of 29 million people in Yemen, and of those 29 million people, currently this crisis affects about 18 million of them. This number has gone up. It used to be 14.7 million back in 2015. So this problem is actually getting more worse than better. Um, the people of Yemen are still currently trying to recover from one of the world's worst cholera and AWD outbreaks. Um, as we can see in the health system of Yemen, it's not very good. There's under 50% of hospitals fully functioning. This means that there's not enough medical staff in a lot of hospitals. Water isn't very clean to use. Even sometimes there isn't even water to use. There are a shortage of beds. Approximately only 10 beds are available for a population of 10,000 people. So not many people are able to be treated. And if cholera and AWD are left untreated, they can kill people within hours.
So the two existing solutions that we looked into are from UNICEF and UN Habitat, and in order to complement and extend their successes, our solution will focus on the immediate need of providing clean water in Yemen by focusing on the rural urban areas, which often lack access to humanitarian aid, and also extend to the internally displaced population, and these are populations forced to flee. So the first existing solution is by UNICEF, and their goal is to facilitate access to clean water and sanitation services to families and children, and also prevent and control the spread of cholera and other infectious diseases. They are doing this by implementing water sanitation stations and providing WASH assistance. WASH standing for Water and Sanitation and Hygiene. So they're also managing existing water supply systems in Yemen with the help from partners in over 440,000 urban areas with suspected cholera and AWD cases. And overall, they have been able to help 5 million people get access with clean drinking water as of 2018. They have also been able to help 5.5 million people get access to household level water treatments. And this is the process of purifying the water for people who live in high risk cholera areas. For the internally displaced population, UNICEF provides water trucking, water points, communal water tanks, hygiene and medical kits, as well as constructing emergency latrines or toilets and outhouses. As of 2018, they were able to provide 1 million internally displaced people with WASH assistance. And you can see this in the image. These are some children from the lodge government or a state. They're getting access to clean water through one of the water points installed by UNICEF. UNICEF also has rapid response teams that respond to suspected cholera cases, and these help in the quick fix of damaged water pipes. They monitor the water quality, help in cleaning campaigns, and community engagement. So the second existing solution that we looked into was by UN Habitat, and their goal is to respond to the immediate needs of shelter, water, sanitation, and hygiene in the Al Hudaydah Governorate. They focus also on the internally displaced population, and one of the ways they're able to do this is by restoring sanitation buildings affected by the war, constructing latrines, and focus on rebuilding houses that include solar-powered energy, latrines, and water tanks. As of 2019, the project has built 63 latrines that have helped over 1,701 individuals in terms of sanitation. And you can see this in the image shown also. This is a Yemeni resident, Miriam, and her daughter in their newly funded house by UN Habitat.
For our solution, we have created a two-part fundraising campaign called Bottles for the Future with a company called LifeStraw. LifeStraw is well known for their water filtration systems that are small enough to fit inside of a straw and selling water bottles that have said straws inside of them. Additionally, they make larger filtration systems and have done philanthropic work with other groups in the past. The two big parts of our project will be selling LifeStraw water bottles as a fundraiser along with custom Yemen stickers that we have created, and then using the money we make during the fundraiser to send larger LifeStraw filtration units over to communities and families in Yemen. This is effective, especially in Europe, in rural and small communities, because although they do have access to water, it's not clean water and it's not safe for drinking. Additionally, if they do want clean water, they have to travel very far into the larger communities that UNICEF and UN Habitat are already helping. For the first part of our fundraiser, we will be selling LifeStraw Go water bottles, which you can see pictured on the left, and custom Yemen stickers on a website that we have created for our campaign. The website will allow people to learn about the Yemen water crisis and why they should help, purchase our products, and donate additional money if they're able to. We chose the LifeStraw Go water bottle out of all of their products because it is very durable and widely usable. It's perfect for people who need one for everyday use, such as camping, hiking, or going to the gym. Additionally, it's LifeStraw's most popular product. Next, we will be using the money we raised by selling our water bottle and sticker bundles to buy LifeStraw mission units, which you can see on the right, and sending them to communities in Yemen. The LifeStraw mission unit will be more beneficial than the LifeStraw Go water bottles because they are larger and last a lot longer. We will be sending the LifeStraw mission units to Yemen by partnering with UNICEF, since they're already sending other supplies to Yemen, but not yet water filtration systems.
So within the filters of LifeStraw products, there is a membrane-like filter that has fibers that are about 0.2 microns large. The usefulness of these filters is that they're able to block anything such as bacteria, parasites, viruses, or dirt, or other particles. Within the LifeStraw Go water bottles for the fundraiser, these water bottles are able to filter out 99.99% of bacteria. They're designed for everyday usage, and they last up to 26 gallons of water filtering. After we raise money for the mission units, which we will be sending to Yemen, these are designed for long-term usage. They are designed to last 4 years for a family of 4. And they are able to filter out 99.99% of bacteria, parasites, and viruses. This even includes cholera. So this will very greatly benefit the families of Yemen. These mission units are also able to filter up to 4,755 gallons of water.
To start our project, we will need to fundraise about $5,000 for a startup. This amount will cover the first 200 LifeStraw Go water bottles, the first 200 stickers, our website domain for 1 year, and it will also leave about $500 as an emergency fund in case we come across any unpredicted expenses. With this money, we would buy the first 200 water bottles at the bulk discount price of $20.36 per bottle. We would also order the stickers at 87 cents each. The LifeStraw Go water bottle usually retails for $39.95 on the LifeStraw website. We will be selling our bottles our bottle and sticker bundles for $45. That's about an additional $5 to get the sticker and know that you're helping somebody in need. If we sell all 200 sets of water bottles and stickers, we will make $9,000. If we had successfully fundraised the $5,000 for our startup, we would be able to put all $9,000 towards our project. If we hadn't fundraised the entire $5,000, then we would simply have to take out some of that $9,000 profit and pay back what we owe, and then we would be sending less LifeStraw mission units to Yemen. However, if we did successfully fundraise all $5,000 and we did get to use all $9,000 towards buying LifeStraw mission units, we would be able to buy 168 of them at the bulk discount price of $53.44 each. If we sell out of the original 200 sets and there's still demand for our product, then we would buy more LifeStraw water bottles and stickers to sell. We would hope that the fundraising tab on our website would cover the majority of the cost for these new water bottles, but if it doesn't, then we would dip into the initial $9,000 that we raised. To market our product, we will be using omni-channel marketing. Omni-channel marketing is a type of marketing that uses a combination of multiple different platforms to to provide an integrated experience for the consumer. The first part of our marketing plan will be our campaign website, which we will show in a minute. The second part would be a link to our website on the LifeStraw website to direct traffic to our project, similar to other projects that they have worked with in the past. The third part of our marketing plan would be social media marketing. We would use a combination of Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to market our project and spread the word. To get a following on our social media platforms, we would market them on the LifeStraw social media platforms, which already have a large following. The last part of our marketing plan would simply be word of mouth marketing. That's when I tell my friends about our project, they tell their friends about it, and the word of our project spreads like a web.
So this is the mock website that we created. On the home page, you can see our title, Bottles for the Future. And as we scroll further down, it's a Who We Are section, and this explains our project. As we scroll further down, it goes more into detail about what exactly our project hopes to do and our goals. It also explains the partnership that we have with LifeStraw. And at the very bottom at the home page, we have a contact forum where people can contact us directly if they have any additional questions. At the top of the page, there is a shop tab. And this is where we can sell the LifeStraw Go water bottles as well as the sticker set. And as Courtney had mentioned before, the water bottle and stickers are retailing at $45 and the sticker set individually is $5. On the About tab, we have our goals to reduce cholera and AWD, as well as to spread awareness about the problem in Yemen. And the last tab that we have is the Get Involved tab. And this basically includes the place where people can make a donation directly and also a place where people can contact us if they want to partner with us. So these are some of the designs that I came up with. They were designed in Adobe Illustrator and they were influenced by the research on history, architecture, culture, and art in Yemen. Since architecture and the flag colors are a very important aspect to the culture of Yemen, I decided to include these into the designs. These designs also address the goal of clean water in Yemen, and they're also meant to help spread awareness, not just about the clean water, but also the culture, and remind the consumer how their purchase is helping in our product.
We then created a timeline to help understand the process of our proposal. So we have 5 steps, and then we might have an extra 6th step if it goes into 4 years for our proposal. So the first step is fundraise for our projects and apply for grants. That will lead us then to buying the first 200 LifeStraw water bottles and the Save Yemen stickers, which will then be marketed, sold, and distributed through the website. And then the money we raise from the website will then be used to purchase the LifeStraw mission units, as we've been saying, and then we'll be sending them to Yemen via UNICEF, as they're already sending supplies to help with the Yemen water crisis. And then step 5 is we will repeat the entire process as many times as we can. We'll repeat this as many times as our budget allows and as much demand is going on. And then, like I talked about with step 6, as these filters usually last around 4 years, we will be sending new filters to Yemen every 4 years if the project is still going on. Overall, our hopes is to bring filtration systems to many communities in Yemen to better their lives off. And we as a group thank you for listening to our presentation and hope that you guys consider donating to those in need. Thanks again.
All right, so we will take some questions. Questions can either be written into the chat, or you can indicate that you'd like to speak and you can say your questions out loud.
I can start off with a question. It seemed like the donation, you took a $40 bottle and added $5 and that was sort of the donation amount. And so that's about 12% or so, 12.5% markup. Was that arbitrary, or was that based on what, other similar programs have done? And I guess percentage is not the only way to think about it. You could just imagine that people are willing to donate $5, whether it's 12.5% of something or not. How did you arrive at that particular markup?
So the bottles usually retail for $39.95 or about $40 on their website. And we came up with the price of $45 by looking at what other like organizations have done with their projects before. We also looked at what people are willing to pay for water bottles and for stickers and kind of put those together. Also, we talked to the social impact manager at LifeStraw, and she said that if we were to implement this, we would be able to buy the water bottles from them at a discounted price of $20, and I can't find it in my notes, but $20 and some cents. So we would actually be like making more since we bought them at that discounted bulk price instead of buying them at the 45 or at the $40 and then selling them at the 45.
All right, I have a question too. So how many families overall again are you going to be helping with your first set at least? Did you estimate like how many of the mission?
Yeah, so if we were to successfully fundraise the $5,000 for the startup, then we would be able to put all of the $9,000 towards buying LifeStraw mission units. So that would be approximately 168 mission units that we would be able to have. If we do need to put some money towards the initial startup or the like ordering the next set of them, then we would probably be around like the 120 mark. So between 120 and 168 families per like round of 200 that we sell, if that makes sense. And our goal would be to at least help 3 full communities, but then if there's still demand for our product, continue to help even more.
And how would you pick those communities within Yemen or the families within those communities who would get those? Would you wait until you had like all 168 before you sent them, or would you send them one at a time? Or can you tell me a little bit about how that implementation would work?
So in our paper, we dove into a little bit more detail on which communities we would start with. And essentially, we would be starting with communities that are farthest away from the communities that UNICEF and UN Habitat are already helping, because those communities would have to, without our filters, they would have to travel the farthest to get filters from the bigger areas. And most of those are pretty small. So we know that we would be starting with those communities, but as for which families in the communities get it, I think we would have to look on a like need-based kind of thing and see, which ones need it the most or which ones have like, if they already have a lot of kids that are going and traveling farther, then they would probably get it before other people who are older and able to travel the farther distance easier, if that makes sense.
Other questions?
I have a question. At certain times in the timeline has steps, but it doesn't identify time, either start time for this particular step or end time, and I think it's important if you've got your 5, maybe 6 steps, is to identify when this step would start, what you hope to accomplish, when the next step would start, because some of the times there'd be overlap, and sometimes you need to conclude a particular step before you take the next step. So could you address that, or something that you would do in the future? Thank you.
We try to consider that. One of the big issues was we don't know how much of a demand is going to be wanted for these water bottles and like how much we're going to sell. So it'd be more, we'd be more able to understand the more process of the whole timeline once we sell the first shipment. So we see the demand of them. We also kind of were like determining how long we're going to have to fundraise for until we get the amount that we kind of hope to get, and then start the process. So a lot of it, I don't know if my group can agree, would be more on the lines of just kind of piece by piece, kind of trial and error for the first attempt. And then once we get the first attempt done, the second, third, and fourth will follow that. And then we'll try to improve on things that we struggle with. Like, for example, if we buy the first 200 water bottles, we sell them right away and we don't order the next 200 right away, we're going to have an open time where we could be selling water bottles. So even if we have a couple left, we can buy the next 200. So we can just have continuous like demand and keep selling the products.
There's a question in the chat. Do you envision any implementation issues with these filters? For example, will it be hard for people in Yemen to use the filters appropriately? And will that require any special training?
So on the LifeStraw website, they kind of have more information on how to use their filters. And one thing that LifeStraw has received a lot of praise for in the past is that they are very easy to use. So one thing that we didn't really talk about, but I think might be a good idea is if we put like a pictorial instruction in it so that they can kind of see like how to use it. And I think LifeStraw might already have those in the instruction. But essentially with the LifeStraw mission units, you just fill that bag that was in the picture and then you turn the little knob and there's like a straw and it goes through there and comes out the other side of the straw when it's filtered. So compared to other water filters by other companies, these ones are pretty easy to use, which is one of the reasons why we chose to go with LifeStraw opposed to other filters.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier about how there's a membrane-like structure and there's fibers within them, kind of how easy this is to use is that when water is entering through the filter, a lot of the particles and like bacterium and everything gets absorbed into the carbon and even the structures of the filters, so that they all get trapped in there as the water passes through them. So there's no like special thing you have to really do, unless it's the mission units where you have to turn the knob. But that's really the only difference between the water bottles and the mission units.
We could do maybe one last question. Someone has one. All right, then let's go ahead and give this group another round of applause. And we are on lunch break then until 1:30. So we hope you will join us back then for our next set of talks. Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting so it'll put up everybody else. Thank you for watching.